Ah, what a pleasant evening. I suppose a serving of slop to cap off this wonderful day would go nicely. Oh, what's this? A butt emerging from within the crack of a metaphorical sidewalk, mayhaps?
We're the Blackthornprod.
So this is an extension slash follow-up video to my previous look at Blackthornprod, way back in March of 2024 BT dubs. I was way ahead of the curve there. No shade at Andrew, obviously. Their video is excellently made and has a bunch of additional insight into what it's like actually working with Blackthornprod. Spoilers, it's not very good. I just find it funny that some stupid video I made on a whim one night would be made notably more relevant several months after I uploaded it due to honestly more substantial drama than what I had initially brung to the table. Funnily enough, I'm only making this video now because I got a new comment on that video showcasing some classic dump truck logic, and it sparked my curiosity enough to see exactly how are those pesky Thorn brothers doing. Seeing they had actually made another game after all this time too filled me with a great sense of joy. This is it. This is my moment to be validated a whole year after my original video. So let's take a look at this uninspired dumpster fire of a devlog and discuss how it showcases the ever so deteriorating qualities of charm and earnestness one would, in a previous time, have associated with the Blackthornprod channel. Alright, whatever, skip. Oh, $5. You know what else is $5 actually? My game, never forgotten. In fact, it's actually $1. Wait, what? That's basically free, because it basically is. Now give me your money now. Or not. Anyways, what were we doing? Talking about some sort of stupid, shitty video or something?
Now let's go back in time and share how this game was made, from the idea to the finished project. First of all, there was prototyping. We began making this little adventure game where you explore tiny planets and stab anything that moves. I was really enjoying working on the visual style and feel, and over the course of a month, the game evolved to include all kinds of creatures and habitats. But we struggled making engaging gameplay, and we're beginning to turn around in circles.
Not too far into this, and already Mr. I sell overpriced game dev courses to impressionable amateurs looking to get into a new hobby is showcasing their wealth of knowledge and experience as a game developer through their lack of forethought or care when it comes to establishing the fundamental design of the project.
We made centipede-like creatures, then grew tired of moving a player around, so removed our poor protagonist and went on a side quest, creating a sort of mini horror base building game.
Why are you showing us? This is nothing. Oh wait, you gotta pad out your nothing burger of a script with pointless filler to meet the optimal video length to appease the algorithm. My bad. Also, maybe a little nitpicky, but what is...
When this prototype fails to keep us excited...
Like, such an odd way to word that, but whatever. I guess writing scripts comprised of nothing but regurgitated variations of the exact same intro and 30-second blurbs about buying your shitty courses don't serve as valid or meaningful practice to the craft of script writing. Not gonna lie, Blackthornprod rubs me as the kind of guy to use ChatGPT to enhance or just straight up write their scripts for them. I mean, after all, you're a businessman running a business. Better do all you can to make it efficient. Human expression? Psh, who needs that when you got a factory product you can efficiently churn out for a massive gain relative to the lack of effort required on the part of the manufacturer?
Oh my god, I don't have to do anything!
Now the cat, who makes his big return, could throw minions at monsters to distract them, and then animated famished creatures hidden in planets, their friendly face acting as a facade. We were increasingly excited about this universe we were building up. It was to be a grand adventure about a cat leaving its home to reach the moon. It was going to include a bunch of secrets, an open world structure, and lots of interesting items that could be picked up and thrown around.
Okay, now this Mooncat game sounds interesting and all, but a quick little bit of fine print. He is describing a game at you. It's really easy to say, I want to make a game that is awesome. Like, yeah, no shit. I'm not impressed when you tell me all the things you would like your game to have. I'll be impressed when you actually show them. But even then, this is Blackthornprod we're talking about here, an atmospheric, narrative-focused horror title. Oh, so the Dreadful Whispers then. You know, that $10 poorly cobbled together mess with comedically poor attempts at horror?
Okay, seems like... I've actually never played this level. Very curious to see... What?
is that?
And a one-dimensional narrative to boot. Yeah, did I mention that'll run you $10? 2 hours a game, by the way. I'm not the type of guy to really give a shit about game length and equating that to the price of a game, but 2 hours? 2 hours. 2 hours with everything else I just mentioned. 2 hours. 2 hours. $10? 2 hours? $10? I'm starting to get the impression that Blackthornprod is yet to surpass the work of theirs from even 6 years ago, which would be quite depressing if not for the fact that, in reality, they've spent an overwhelming majority of that time building their little empire as opposed to honing their craft.
Looking back, I think it was mostly a lack of patience that threw us off course and had us seeking alternative ideas. The visuals felt fresh, many of the mechanics were interesting, but because it had now been well over 2 months...
Okay, I don't mean to be that guy, but this is an embarrassing show for 2 months of work, considering these are individuals who position themselves as bastions within the game development community, who are teachers to the unknowledgeable, and who shine a spotlight on those they deem worthy. Let me just quickly exempt the part where they make infinitely more money than any of the people they spotlight through enticing them to do all the work whilst dangling exposure as compensation above their heads.
Then we spent a couple days making tiny experiments, a game about devouring bats, a game about infinitely scrolling until your character grows old and wrinkled.
Again, a bit nitpicky, but what is this? Is this supposed to be funny, or... Over 7 years of video editing experience, and you have this extended bit of basically unedited gameplay confusingly hand-fisted into the script that brings the pacing to a crawl. There's this unneeded and abrupt zoom on the face, no additional sound effects or visual polish. Overall, there's a general lack of conveyance in regards to what turn I'm meant to intuit from this. Real amateur stuff.
We were both equally involved in the design and pretty much dabble in every other part of the development process, meaning we wear multiple hats every single day. This fascinating use of a bunch of different skills that connect in unique ways is partly why I'm in love with the craft of game development.
An expression of passion has never rung so holler. I'm in love with game development. Says the guy who abandoned their career in the field almost immediately after being met with complete and total failure, and instead turned to finding the means to grift through manipulating their one successful venture into a machine capable of churning out factory product through the practically uncompensated labor of others. Building a massive platform from which they can cram sponsors and, more notably, their own overpriced development course, featuring rudimentary tutorials easily substituted with those you could find for free on YouTube.
But there you have it, one late winter morning, we were throwing ideas around yet again, when suddenly I had a luxury aha moment. What if we merged Slay the Spire and Tetris? I began to excitedly share my thoughts with Liam, imagining cards that instead of simply costing mana, would take up space on a grid-like board.
Would just like to point out that it took them over 2 months to settle on the idea that can be summed up as Slay the Spire but with a mediocre gimmick and a superficial change in setting and art style. So basically just Slay the Spire but worse. Alright, that's about all that's really worth looking at in this video. Most of it's just filler to pad out the length. Honestly, a bit of a chore to get through and quite the embarrassing output for a channel with nearly 600,000 subscribers and 7 years of previous work to compare it against. The video isn't particularly well edited, the narration lacks even the vaguest hint of charisma, the script is bland, and again, there's so much filler. The video also lacks a sense of coherency due to the absence of a core hook beyond, we wanted to make a game. So, we made a game. The issue with this setup is it's not particularly interesting. It doesn't encourage the viewer to ask questions, and any sense of mystery relating to the final product and what it would be is immediately swept away due to them obviously wanting to plug the store page for the game within the time frame the overwhelming majority of people are still watching. Overall, this whole video feels quite aimless and is a clear step down in quality relative to their usual niche, which also reflects in the video's stats. Also worth mentioning, yet again I know I'm redundant, fuck off. Anyways, as I was saying, that the higher quality of their collaborative projects is due to the fact that they farm out the majority of the editing, the actual work, to the participants. So what can we gather from this video? Well, we've learned that Blackthornprod are creatively inept with the inability to make anything substantive ranging from games to videos. They demonstrate a clear lack of understanding in how to design and prototype a game, stumbling for a total of 4 to 6 months developing stuff only to land on a confused and derivative title. In spite of this, they hail themselves as teachers within the field, with insider knowledge as to how to succeed in the business, despite never having succeeded even once, despite the fact that they have a platform with several 100,000 subscribers. They failed to make an entertaining, well-paced, edited, or coherent video that pales in comparison to the work they actively showcase from their peers on their channel, most of which haven't even been making videos for half the time Blackthornprod has, mind you. And after this independent venture of theirs unsurprisingly failed and was nothing short of a complete and total waste of everyone's time, including mine, I want my 10 minutes back, please, they've gone straight back to the dusty, dried tit of their favorite content mill. And immediately it shows notably more engagement. But with diminishing returns like these, just how much longer can you milk this before it becomes just about equally as unviable as the content they were making 6 years ago? All in all, with the video underperforming and the, quite frankly, pretty saddening performance of the game, this just seems to be the repercussions of building an audience only interested in seeing what the other creative minds you exploit for content make. And it seems as though you can't really effectively use that audience to sell your own shitty uninspired trash to. Alrighty, that'll do it for this one. See ya! Okay, so I get it. It's been 6 months since my last devlog, but like, dude, I'm not your dad. If I decide to abandon you stranded and starving at sea for like half a year only to return in my luxury private jet with reheated spaghetti before departing once more, I can, okay? I can do that. For like the 5 people who care, yes, I have been working on that new game. Here's gameplay of it. Here it is. Look. And here's a list of things I've added to it over the course of like the 4 months I've been developing it. It still has a ways to go, but the foundation is basically done and all I need to do is polish it up and build the levels. Also, I've actually been contemplating putting it on hold to work on another small project. Though it's too early to say what's going to happen with that, I'm going to finish writing it out and prototyping it before deciding to go anywhere with that. So all I can really say right now is that I'm not certain when I'll get another devlog out. It pretty much hinges on this new project and whether or not it seems like a more worthwhile thing to develop. That being said, if I had to give an estimate, let's just say like maybe 3 months. I know it's way longer than my original estimate, but like honestly, I'm a fair bit behind on schedule given I was basically out of commission for over a month due to a really persistent ear infection, so just cut me some slack. But one thing is for certain, I promise that a game will be made and some videos will be made about it. Just trust in the process, jabronis. And with that, Schmungus is out. Also, go buy my game now. Give me your money, you fucker.